catcher or the pitcher shook his catcher off twice before he threw that fastball. So he goes back to the old lesson, man, you don't shake off your catcher. But they
also don't leave that pitcher in for 7 innings.
Yeah,
I mean, that
especially as hard as he throws. They felt, and they just, after that, they were.
Yeah, when you see it in their demeanor, you know that they've given up, it's over.
They fell apart.
But that team has been the best thing for baseball in years. Or college baseball, let's put it that way. How many are they losing? 3?
4 or 5.
Yeah.
3's for sure, maybe have 1 or 2 in the, that could look at the draft.
I wouldn't start this. So what is his first resolution? What's that? 26-1401.
The first public hearing is on Sycamore Trace, the second one's
We're going to open up the public hearing regarding Resolution 2206-1401, and the resolution is 2206-0701 and 2206-0702. If anyone wishes to speak before the council tonight, please come up to the microphone and state your name and your address, and we'll get you in the record. Now we wait.
Are you doing all of these at the same time?
Well, one was at 5:30.
One's at 1, one's at 5:45. The first one's supposed to be with the,
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna speak to it when he gets through.
Yeah, the first one is on section of the Internal Revenue Service Code of 86, amending the issuance of Colorado Health Facility Authority and its senior living revenue bonds.
So I'm here about the resolution about the Colorado Health Care Facilities. Would you like me to answer questions or?
I mean, I don't have any questions. And you, Tony?
Yes, I've got questions.
Sure.
Yeah, come on up.
Okay.
Absolutely.
If you don't mind stating your name.
Sure. My name is Scott Kelman, and my address is 3819 Hillcrest Road, Ann Arbor, Michigan, 48103.
Welcome to Kingston.
Thank you. Lovely.
Tony Brown, 209 Suzanne Place, Kingston. Just 2 or 3 questions that I have. I'm assuming that this resolution is to benefit only the corporation or the LLC for refinancing of a loan, best I could
Correct.
get through all this, which includes several other facilities in several other states.
Correct.
And why does this come before us?
Every jurisdiction where there's a facility that is going to be encumbered by the bonds needs to pass a TEFRA hearing. It's just the way the tax-exempt finance works, and it's a requirement by the IRS. It's a not-for-profit facility, and it does benefit the community. If people in our facility run out of money, we don't kick them out. We try to find them public assistance. If they don't have public assistance, or if they can't qualify for public assistance, we make sure that they've exhausted all their personal resources, and if they end up on public assistance and that doesn't cover all of our costs, we eat the costs. I mean, it's a not-for-profit. No individual benefits from this.
And it's only become a non-profit organization when?
2019.
So, we bought it. The Eagle Senior Living bought it from Brookdale, which is the largest for-profit operator of assisted living facilities in the country, probably in the world, back in the end of 2018. I think December 20th of 2018. And it became a not-for-profit at that point in time.
Okay, so you're telling me that the residents there, if they run out of money, you help them because you're nonprofit?
Correct.
And does that go back pre-existing to the people that were there already? I can see the people you
Correct.
cite today, but does it retroactively go back to all residents?
Correct, it does. If there's somebody who's been there since 2012 and they run through all of their resources, which is common, because most people, the normal turnover in these facilities is about a little bit less than 3 years. People typically either age out, or unfortunately they pass away, or they need a higher level of care and have to be moved to an independent living. Listen to me, a skilled nursing facility. Then if we can no longer take care of their needs, then they do go on to a more acute setting.
Okay. I was interested in where it mentions specifically on the first page of the notice of the public hearing and in the resolution that the refinancing, evidently there's going to be some extra money somewhere. Because you addressed that you're going to, when you refinance it, including that you're going to come in and renovate, improve the fixtures, the machinery, the equipment, the furniture, and the furnishings. For our particular one that we're looking at, that was worth several $100,000. So how much money do you anticipate as far as improving the facility? I don't care anything about the rest of them. I guess that's selfish of me. But the one at 1098 Bradford Way.
Yeah. So the situation here is that when COVID hit, it destroyed the business, basically. We have the majority of the facilities are in Florida. No residents were allowed to be admitted during that period of time. So census plummeted, and we were unable to cover the debt service on the bonds. And so this is actually pursuant to a restructuring, a reorganization, where the bondholders are taking, I think, about a $40 million hit on their bonds, and these are the new bonds that are being issued underneath that. In the restructuring, we made the plea to the bondholders that we had trouble keeping up with capital expenditures during the period of time that COVID had decimated the census in the facilities. In addition, as you guys probably all know, there's a terrible dearth of workers, so our wages are going up, and a lot of agency usage, which to keep staffing at levels that can protect the residents. So we said to the bondholders, we need to issue some additional bonds in order to refurbish facilities as needed. I don't have off the top of my head the capital expenditure structure for Sycamore Trace for this particular facility. So I don't really know off the top of my head what the specific refurbishment plans, if any, are required at this facility.
There must be some, because it says in what we're fixing to pass, and it appears that, is that $215 million? Is that the total amount?
$215 million was the original bond issue amount, and it's been reduced to approximately $170 million.
Just on this one facility?
No, I'm sorry, on the 16 facility portfolio, so sorry.
And then I've got a question. I think the last time you were here, and I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm assuming that you have agreed to pay all the cost of this quarter-page advertising that we had to do. Does that happen?
We sent the invoice. I'm not sure if it's been paid yet, but we sent the invoice and the affidavit. It was like $514, I think.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I didn't. We also owed you $27,000, $540, I think, because Brookdale had taxes that were prorated, and under the closing statement they were supposed to pay them, but our recourse to them we determined has expired, so we cannot make them pay those taxes. There was a check issued on Friday, and I can show you a copy of it, and you should be receiving it according to this. It was $27,045.74, and
You're
it
probably gonna be a little bit short. I checked with the clerk and master today. It's $27,285.15.
okay. So
Just
that's,
let you
that's
know.
fine. So anyway, that check has been sent, and you should receive it.
Well, it's supposed to go to the clerk and master, it doesn't go to,
Yeah. So it was sent to the clerk and master's office, 200 East Race Street, Suite, okay,
yeah, that's it,
okay, thank you.
thank you.
Yep.
I think that's all that I have.
Okay, and we will pay the fees for the other, thank you.
Now we wait.
Your company wouldn't want to make a donation to the city of Kingston in lieu of tax for the police protection, where you set off your alarms in the fire department, that we have to run now that you are understanding under this agreement also, or this new filing you filed, that you no longer pay property tax.
We don't pay property tax now. I would be glad to go back and talk to, I'm not an officer of that company anymore. I kind of retired a couple years ago.
Well, just
And
pass
so
on to them that one of the council members
requested a
you know,
pilot.
something just doesn't seem right, and I know that churches don't get charged, but for a facility that brings in as much money as this facility does, and it kind of irks me a little bit that we didn't know anything about this, that you were one of our biggest taxpayers, and now all of a sudden we don't have that, but, we're still sending every time one of your people fall down, which is our people too, there is an expense, and I'm just glad that the water and sewer wasn't included as part of the taxation base, or you wouldn't have to pay that either. So you're still receiving services to a great extent without paying for them. That's just me now. I'm not speaking for
It's very valid, and I'm not simply pandering here. We should talk about looking at a pilot. I mean, I've done it in other deals over my 35-year history in this with the non-for-profit, and we should talk about it.
Thank you.
You trying to get some more money out of them boys sitting back there?
Wouldn't want to sponsor a ball team, would you? A golf team.
Fireworks today.
So I keep stealing all my good pens up here.
I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No, it's-
I had all kinds of stuff wrote down.
You did pretty good Saturday. Somebody spent $10,000. About 10,000. But if I go back to state this year, they'll need every night left. Those rooms at the Wilderness are not very cheap. The rooms at the Wilderness are not very cheap.
Something, he said he emailed it to you.
I didn't know you may not very well. I started having job clothes for sale.
No, I ordered me a new set, and those are my old ones I'm setting for. Right, 4 or 5 people already. That's the first time I ever put anything on Facebook Marketplace. I didn't know what I was doing.
It's better than swapping shop, but.
We used to listen to that at work back years ago when they come on. They'd call and sell everything. Goats, cats. old cars. Are you planning on going to TML this year? You planning on going to TML this year?
I don't know. You going?
Yeah, that's in Gatlinburg. I think I'm gonna go and do it. Go for it.
Where is it?
Gatlinburg.
When is it?
August 13th through 16th. I'm probably gonna go and do all the utility training and get that knocked out.
I'll be gone that first week, the last week of July, the first week of August to the World Series. I don't think I get back till like the 11th.
Yeah, I was so disappointed Sunday afternoon. Oh, gosh.
Now, just an advice for the politicians,
Mhm.
on June the 22nd at 8:30,
You never know. We'll see. I got a call yesterday. Hope.
how long it's good for.
David, did everyone else say when they're gonna start advertising? Cause they're not using WPBX, right? Oh, they are? Okay.
I assume they already are.
Okay, cause I've been listening, so
Yeah.
I hadn't heard anything.
It's 2 weeks from Saturday,
I
so I
know,
would assume.
I know.
That
Trying
reminds
to get
me.
a separate flyer.
That
Yeah,
Been working
because-
with them, well, we're waiting on Van Tinsky to give it to.
Oh, well, because I had so many people say, there's gonna be a beer truck, I was like, no. No.
Yeah, I changed it and just put ours on there.
Okay.
So that reminds me, when are we doing a roadblock? Not gonna do one for fireworks? Okay.
It's just not worth it. Paying overtime, heat and everything else to freaking.
I'm still over, my hand's still cramping. So my hand's still cramping.
That was, got to be on the list.
My gosh, what were the inmates doing at the dog park today?
Putting in rock.
Oh. It's like a hot, nasty work day.
Yeah.
No, I got one now.
Maybe they set a date with your form, didn't they? 28th
So it's 2 weeks from today.
from state, right?
Yeah, they all do.
Where?
No. No. Same with food trucks do. They don't have a Rowan County receipt license either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fail spectacularly.
did you get that, Tim?
Yesterday. Yesterday.
On Sunday?
No, Monday.
What's today? Today's Tuesday. As soon as I get it tabulated, I'll send it to you guys.
Okay. Just forward that to me when you get it. Just curious. I'm sure they'll share it with everybody else, won't they?
Well, they'll leak it. Don't know if they'll distribute it. Depends on what it says.
Yeah.
That's the way they work.
I had an interesting conversation last night, and this is a little while ago. I'll tell you about it later. David, are they? David, is the youth leadership still coming? We've got a lot on the agenda tonight.
Who's not here?
Michelle.
After the tone, say your name, and then press the pound key.
Mayor.
Thank you. You are currently the only person in this conference.
I can turn the microphone on, everybody can listen to the music.
Michelle
No,
has joined the
Michelle just
conference.
called. Need one on the rest of it real quick.
Does that in July, we got to do. Don't think that's gonna be an issue. Yeah, that might be a problem.
But they have been out there
Whoever come up with this, you should line that up, everybody involved in the fire department. It is that crazy, it's when it's, AC systems, it's terrible.
How's Tara today?
If I could clone myself a few times, that'd be great.
I wouldn't want to.
Good, how are you?
Tara, how you doing?
I'm doing great. We get some mail. No. Isn't that funny? Then my phone just texts that. I'm doing great. Oh. Siri.
But it's supposed to be cloudy, overcast Thursday.
Yeah, I'm just waiting.
Might make it Saturday at noon, it'll be one rough.
They don't get you.
All leisured up here.
Well, I know everybody else is dressed as casual, or something, I'm joining the crowd on casual weather. Hot weather. I
hot to
just
dress
stand this way
up.
for the attention of flag on.
That's right. It's a little squat.
Yeah, I know, I did.
Self looks short.
Yeah, I got the squat on.
That's what blocks it off up here.
Yeah, I know, you don't have to worry about it at all.
It was so funny when we used to have to do our meetings from home.
Yes.
To the pledge, and it was just everybody's midsection.
Mainly it was Randy's. Mainly it was you. You didn't hear words I said. Talking about when we was at home, we're doing the meetings and we'd do the pledge and everybody stand up and, you know, just right in everybody's place, just right there on the. Mainly Randy. Dare was
Did
always.
everybody have a shirt on?
Everybody's off in San Francisco.
Yeah, I know. That's about, I despise doing that live thing on webcast.
Oh, I do them all day long. I like it.
I mean, I like them where you don't have to leave, but it stinks. No matter what you do on a video like that, it's never an image that you would want to show of yourself.
I'd like to ask if there's anyone else that wishes to speak on either one of the public hearings we have for three resolutions that are on the floor. Is anyone wishing to speak on the public hearing? Seeing none, it being 6 o'clock, I'll call the regular meeting of the Kingston City Council order. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand. Mr. Brown, would you lead us in invocation? Ms. Wright, would you lead us in pledge to the flag?
Pray with me, please. Heavenly Father, once again, we come to you with grateful hearts. Thank you for the opportunity to come here and meet as a body to do the will and the business of the city of Kingston. Be with us as we make these decisions, that we do the best things for the city. We ask that you be with the sick and the afflicted and the shut-ins, be with them, you know their needs, and every day we'll give you praise. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Brown,
Present.
Councilmember Childs, Councilmember Griffiths,
Present.
Vice Mayor Humphries,
Present.
Councilmember Stockton,
Present.
Councilmember Wright,
Present.
Mayor Neal.
Present. To hear a motion to approve the previous minutes as written, I think there's two sets of minutes to approve.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. You seen corrections or deletions to the minutes?
Nothing, sir.
No.
Anyone else? Okay. Madam Clerk, call a roll for approval of previous minutes, both sets.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Is there anyone that wishes to address the council tonight? If so, just come up and give your name and you can address the council. Okay, seeing them, we'll go into reports. Going to the mayor and the council. Start with Mr. Griffiths. Do you have anything to report?
No, we just have 2 library board positions to fill tonight.
Ms. Wright, do you have anything?
I do not.
Mr. Brown?
Just that I had them put in your reports tonight, a thing about the, how many calls the 911 center puts out, just for your information. If you want those every month, we do those every month, or I can have them put you all on the email list, and they'll come straight to you, whatever's your pleasure, but it'll tell you how many fire departments and all that kind of stuff, and police department calls.
Thank you. Ms. Stockton, do you have anything to report?
No, not at this time.
Mr. Childs? Ms. Humphries?
Before I get into the park and rec thing, I'd just like to say thanks to everyone who came out to my mom's service, and the flowers and the flags that the fire department, police department did. That meant a lot to the family, and I'd like to ask y'all to keep us all in prayer. On the park and rec thing, I wasn't able to go due to my mom's passing. I understand there wasn't enough there to have a quorum, so there's nothing to report there.
Speaking on that, I was going to appoint Linda Townsend to fulfill the vacant seat that is what expires in 23, maybe, I think it is.
That'd be Matt's seat.
Yes. So we'll do that. That's all I have to report. Mr. City Manager, do you have anything to report?
I do, Mayor. Thank you. Just a few things here. Speaking of Parks and Rec, we're finalizing plans, working with R&L Credit Union for the concert on the 2nd. This week we've been finishing up our parking plan. Obviously, we're going to have to utilize off-site parking for that event in anticipation of, if the crowd number is anything close to what they're expecting it to be. We're finalizing that. We also, you saw an email, we're going to have a shuttle bus that we're going to run, and we'll have certain stops that we will also publicize, so we'll be able to accommodate off-site parking as best we can. But all those plans are being finalized, and that'll be a reminder. That'll be 2 weeks from Saturday, so there'll be more coming out about that. You may notice if you've been downtown today that, of course, half of the sidewalk project downtown's done. The other half has started now, the Highway 70 side of the lot. We had to work with the Methodist Church a little bit to get some paperwork from them. Got that finished and got the go-ahead, so they started working on that today. I think they're getting concrete later this week, so that'll be moving, and then that will be done. And Tim's crews, they've done a great job so far, so really proud of how that's working. Another project that we're waiting on, obviously I get a lot of questions about the traffic lights. As I talked about, Progression's waiting on the new controls for those. They hope maybe by late this week, early next, they'll have those in, and they'll be out on site to put them in. Just last night we had a little power issue, and a part went bad in one of the control boxes, and we had to cannibalize another one. So, I mean, these things are on their last legs, so it'll be very good to get that in. Definitely worth the wait, but hopefully within the next couple weeks that project will be wrapping up. It's on the agenda. We'll be talking about it later, but you may have noticed in your packets I put a revised form for the ARPA utility projects. Obviously, the ones you identified last week are all on there, but we've also added a couple or one project that Kevin's been working with the engineering firm on for sewer rehabilitation. They plugged that in there, and I think that was $500,000. And then, so it's a little more in-depth, but just wanted to point that out. Like I said, we'll be talking about that more in a little bit. One other thing, I know we've beat this to death, but I just wanted to bring it up briefly. We talked about banners and brackets. We have a little bit of a situation. We currently have 24 brackets left, and as of a few days ago, I think there were 41 that have been ordered. So we're going to have to make that up, and I just wanted to bring that to your attention in case any of you have any objections to us taking care of that. You know, we feel like people have ordered those in good faith, and they're going to expect them to go up. We just don't have the materials to do that. So if there's no objections, we can order those after July 1st. But if you want me to do something different, then certainly open to however you want me to handle it. And that's all I have unless you have any questions.
Are there any questions for the city manager? Okay. Seeing none, item 7 is addition of items to the meeting agenda received after the close of the deadline. I've not received any of those. We'll go into number 8, unfinished business. Item A is considered to approve the second reading of ordinance 220510-01, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the city of Kingston, Tennessee for fiscal year 2021-2022. Do I hear a motion for this ordinance?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Ms. Wright, second by Mr. Griffiths. Ms. Wright, any?
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Griffiths? Council? Madam Clerk, call the roll on item A, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Item B is consideration to approve the second reading of ordinance 220510-02, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the city of Kingston, Tennessee Water and Sewer Fund for fiscal year 2021-2022. I hear a motion on this ordinance.
I'll make the motion.
Second, Mr. Childs. Motion by Ms. Wright, second by Mr. Childs. Ms. Wright?
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Childs. Council. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Item C is consideration to approve the second reading of ordinance 22060701, an ordinance of the city of Kingston, Tennessee, adopting the annual general fund budget and setting the property tax rate for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022 and ending June 30th, 2023. Do I hear a motion to pass the budget tonight?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Ms. Wright, second by Mr. Griffiths. Ms. Wright?
No, just thankful for all the hard work that staff put into this to make sure we, once again, did not have a raise in our property tax rate.
Mr. Griffiths?
No.
Council?
I'd like to thank all of them that put in the hard work explaining everything there in the end. That last meeting, that was really helpful.
Yeah. Madam Clerk, call the roll on passing the budget.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Item D is to consider to approve the second reading of ordinance 22060702, an ordinance of the city of Kingston, Tennessee, adopting the annual water sewer fund operating budget and setting the rates and fees for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022 and ending June 30th, 2023. Do you hear a motion for this ordinance?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Griffiths, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Childs. Mr. Griffiths?
No.
Mr. Childs? Anyone else? Madam Clerk, call the roll on passing the water budget.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Now into new business, item A. Consider to, this is a long one, so hang on. Consider to approve resolution 22061401, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Kingston, Tennessee, approving solely the purposes of section 147F of the Internal Revenue Service Code of 1986 to amend the insurance of Colorado Health Facilities Authority of its senior living revenue bonds, American Eagle Portfolio Project Series 2022, for the purpose of financing the senior living facilities herewithin described, one of which is located in the city, and providing an effective date. Do I hear a motion for this resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Wright, second by Mr. Brown. Ms. Wright?
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Brown?
I appreciate Scott coming in to explain this to us. If by chance you weren't here for his first comments, I would encourage you to watch the video. He answered all my questions satisfactory, and I'm pleased to second the motion.
Council? I've seen none. Call the roll on the item A.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Item B is consideration to authorize the city manager and utility director to proceed with the application process for TDEC funding American Rescue Plan Act projects. Would you like to speak on this first, or?
Yeah,
Mr.
just
Roll?
briefly, if you don't mind. We have a couple things, and again, we wanted to give you something a little more in depth than what you had at the workshop, and you have that that breakdown there. A couple things I want to point out on it. Items 6 and 7, the tank rehabilitation that we've set aside $66,000 or earmarked $66,000 for. We're not 100% sure yet if those will qualify for ARPA funding. So if not, that would have to come out eventually, and we'd have to fund that work another way. Also, we've added in item number 8, which was inadvertently left off the last time, was commercial. We want to replace some of our commercial meters. So we've added 20 of those in. And then the biggest difference is item 13, which is really the only kind of big construction type project so far that we're looking at, and we penciled in $500,000 for that. And our thought was sewer line rehabilitation, probably do lining, but we put that in, and that's really obviously, you know, at this point a placeholder. You know, I know we're not there yet, but I mean, if you want to approve that's one direction we certainly think we ought to go. And of course, you know, that still has us about $300,000 short of expending these funds. So we're still working, and there'll still be other discussions about utility projects. But we think we've put together a good comprehensive plan here. Covers a lot of needs, and as we talked about before, we need to start the process of procurement and applying and going through all the steps we have to go through. So have this for your consideration.
Do I hear the motion to go ahead and approve the application process for this funding?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions from the city manager?
Mr. Bowling, on this list, it says GIS mapping. Don't we already have a grant out for that?
We do. This will be enhancements to that mapping, so we're going to add some other things to that. Not sure yet how that, if they're going to fund that. There's some question at the state level whether they're going to fund those grants with the original pocket of money, or if they're going to use ARPA money to fund it. And if that's the case, then all the applications will be approved. So that's what's held that up. But you know, we're hoping to do more with what we're getting. There's a lot of things that we'll be able to do with this new GIS mapping that we haven't been able to do in the past. So that's part of that.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Mr. Brown?
Now, do I understand this right, that this, what we're voting on is not set in stone? It's just for the manager and the utility district to turn in an application with these items on it?
Right, start the application process.
Yeah, and we would go through, you know, there's some degree of vetting that the state's going to be willing to do. They're not going to tell you up front, yes, this will qualify, or no, there won't. But if we can send those things to them and say, hey, here's what we're looking at applying for, and hopefully they'll red flag anything on there if there is something they have a problem with. But you know, there's going to be quite a process to put this application together. Our thought is that these items would be included, and then anything additional we want to do, can be applied for as well, so.
But then it would come back to us before these items are done.
Yes, I'm pretty sure there'll
What-
be a resolution you'll have to
Okay,
pass.
what I'm getting at is that we've got 24 items, and if they knock off 5 of them, somewhere there's going to be a ranking system
Yeah.
of which other ones are more important than the ones that got knocked off. Obviously, if they came back and the report said, we're going to fund all 24 of these are all eligible, then there wouldn't be anything to look at. But these aren't going into the budget, it's just for the applications, all that's for.
Yeah, we're gonna
Okay, if
start building.
That's what it is, I'm all for it then.
We're gonna start building an application. Like I said, I think there's a resolution you'll have to pass at some point. But, there's a chance the state could come back and kick every one of those out and say, we want you to do this instead. And that goes back to the utility scorecard that we had to do, which we didn't get red flagged on much, but we think that what we've submitted here will meet the things they have identified as priorities, but they could interpret it a different way. So this is just giving us the next step in that process.
And again, my biggest concern is the county money that we're counting on that I don't think we can count on, $449,000, which is included in this.
Well, we got an email about some of that today. Did you see it?
Passed last night.
Yeah, it
Okay.
passed last night.
So unless commission changes their mind before they cut the check, then looks like it's going the right
Commission coming
direction.
in September, just remember.
Let's see if we can't get that check in a hurry. Anyone else? I'll go ask for it Friday if you want me to. Madam Clerk, call the roll on that application process.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Item C is consideration to award a bid in the amount of $152,550 from Competition Athletic Services for resurfacing of the Southwest Point running track. Do I hear a motion to award this bid?
I make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Stockton, second by Mr. Brown. Ms. Stockton.
Long time waiting on that.
Mr. Brown?
I just want to make sure that figure's right on what they gave us. That does include
The pad.
everything out there that has asphalt on it is going to get redone and restriped.
Correct.
And remarked with the running lanes and start lanes.
Everything but the starter's distance.
We'll find what we need to. Anyone else? Clerk, call the roll on awarding this bid.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Item D is consideration to award a bid in the amount of $122,158 from Garrett and Sons for the reflooring of the community center. To hear a motion to award this bid.
Make a motion.
Is there a second? Mr. Childs. Motion by Ms. Stockton, second by Ms. Childs. Ms. Stockton?
I'm just excited to show some improvements in the community center and waiting on the ceiling tile to go with it.
And if I could real quick, just gonna tell you kind of our thought on that. And of course, we'll have to work with the contractor to schedule it. But, we're gonna try to do all that at a point. Obviously right now, Parks and Rec staff, they're mowing. It's a busy time of year at the community center. Hoping more toward the fall when things start slowing down, that we can go in and start that work. So we'll be getting all that scheduled.
Mr. Childs, do you have anything to add? Council? Madam Clerk, call the roll to award that bid.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Next item on the agenda is consideration to fill 2 unexpired term seats on the library board.
Okay, on that, I have unless we need approved to do it first, but I have 3 applicants here. If you want me to talk about them now. One is Jinx Watson. She applied last time, and I've met with her, and I feel like she'd be a good fit. Another one is Beverly Zillman, if I'm saying her name right. I didn't know nothing about her, and I asked Barbara, and I think that's the 2 we like to go with. And this William Douglas Wilson, I think there's a term expiring that has to be filled again end of this year.
So like, some others may keep it in the file and with other applicants and see who may want it then. But as far as me, I'm gonna suggest, bring up that we vote on Beverly Zillman and Jinx Watson to fill those 2 positions. I'm making a motion. And you-
Second.
Motion.
Now, or do we have to wait? Keep that third one on in case something else.
Yes,
Well,
yeah,
we've kind of, David and I was discussing, we might discuss the other night about, we might have 4 people put in for Parks and Rec, and then the next year, next time we don't hang on to those 2, so yes. Any discussion on those 2 seats? Madam Clerk, call the roll to appoint Jinx Watson and Beverly Zillman to the Library Board to fill unexpired terms.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye.
7 ayes.
That is the end of the agenda, so this meeting's adjourned.
No.
Oh, shoot, I circled the wrong one, my fault. Trying to keep up, and I got ahead of myself. I'm sorry. Consideration to approve the request by the fire department for surplus equipment.
Make a motion.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Stockton, second by Mr. Childs. Ms. Stockton? Mr. Childs? Any other questions? Madam Clerk, call the roll on that surplus equipment.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Now, it's the end of the agenda. This meeting's adjourned. So now we're going to the regular meeting of the Kingston Beer Board. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll for the Beer Board?
Member Brown?
Yes.
Member
Present.
Childs? Member Griffiths?
Present.
Vice Chair Humphries?
Present.
Member Stockton?
Present.
Member Wright?
Present.
Chair Neal?
Present. Do I hear a motion to approve the previous minutes as written?
Make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Childs, second by Ms. Wright. Madam Clerk, call the roll on the minutes.
Member Brown?
Yes.
Member Childs?
Yes.
Member Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Chair Humphries?
Yes.
Member Stockton?
Yes.
Member Wright?
Yes.
Chairman Neal?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Nothing to come before the Beer Board tonight. That meeting's adjourned. Now I'm gonna call to order the regular meeting of the Kingston Water Board. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Member Brown?
Present.
Member Childs?
Present.
Member Griffiths?
Present.
Vice Chair Humphries?
Present.
Member Stockton?
Present.
Member Wright?
Present.
Chairman Neal?
Present. To hear a motion to approve the previous minutes as written.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
A motion by Ms. Wright, second by Mr. Griffiths. Is there any corrections or deletions to the minutes?
No, sir.
Madam Clerk, call the roll on the previous minutes.
Member Brown?
Yes.
Member Childs?
Yes.
Member Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Chair Humphries?
Yes.
Member Stockton?
Yes.
Member Wright?
Yes.
Chairman Neal?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Do we have any citizens that wish to address the Water Board tonight? All right, seeing none, we'll go into the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I have just one item in addition to my written report, really just a heads up more than anything. As you know, for some time, we've been working with the proposed Watts Bar Utility District Sewer Agreement. And I've had conversations with Long Island Marina and with Watts Bar, both very anxious to see that move forward. So if there's no objection, I'm going to be adding that to the workshop agenda next month to bring that forward. And of course, the biggest issue we're going to have to negotiate or come to terms with is the rate that we're going to charge them. So you can prepare for that conversation. But just going to give you a heads up in case you're contacted that I do plan on putting that on the workshop agenda.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for the utility director?
Mr. Mayor, or
Ye-
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Brown?
should have done this in front of the other meeting, but we have 2 members of the Youth Advisory Group in attendance tonight with us. Could we ask them to stand and give their names?
Well, Mr. Brown, I was going to do that before this meeting was adjourned.
Well, you think
So,
on the same page.
I will wait. I will wait just a minute.
They've
We'll
been,
do that.
they've been attending these meetings off and on, and we appreciate them coming, and that way it gets them on TV.
Yes, I'd
Be
plan
nice
to
if they
do that.
showed up on time, wouldn't
It
it?
would be nice. All right, for no other city manager's report, we're going to new business. And one is considered to approve the installation of sewer service on Schubert Street. Say that fast 5 times.
We do, Mr. Mayor, real quick, if I could, before you move forward on that, just a little bit of a change. If you notice the estimate that's in your packets, since that was done, the price has increased from $5.06 a foot to $5.25 a foot. So that would bring the total material cost to run the length of the road to $6,153.
My suggestion, if this passes tonight, to get it ordered tomorrow before it goes up again. I'm sure you're already way ahead of that. So do I hear a motion to consider the previous installation at $6,153?
I move that we allot $6,500 to cover anything else, so they don't have to come back before us, and to include the entire street.
I'll second.
All right. A motion second to make that no more than $6,500 include entire street. Mr. Brown, you anything to add with that?
Well, just, get it started, get it done. Revenue, it generates revenue.
That's right. Board?
I'd like to ask a question. Since I wasn't able to be here at the workshop, it was very difficult to hear. I think there were like two people with their mics on. And I went back and watched and tried to get up to speed on some of this stuff. But what was the ultimate decision? I did hear you say that you had polled the residents, and I couldn't hear Kevin. He was in the audience, but I couldn't really hear what he said, what the residents said, how they felt about it. I do know I have a relative that lives over there who's against it, but I didn't know what the general consensus of the street was, and if what we're doing, if we're voting to go ahead and do the whole street, and then everybody will be required to pay regardless, or what was decided. I couldn't hear that.
Yeah, he said he didn't get a whole lot of feedback. I can't remember. I want to say maybe 4 people got back to him, and I think a couple were for it, a couple were kind of up in the air, undecided on it. But the way I understood the desire was to go ahead and move forward with doing the whole road as opposed to just that one house. So yes, yeah, if this passes, then they would all become sewer customers. So.
Anyone else? Madam Clerk, call the roll to not to exceed $6,500 for sewer service on Schubert Street.
Member Brown?
Yes.
Member Childs?
Yes.
Member Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Chair Humphreys?
Yes.
Member Stockton?
Yes.
Member Wright?
Yes.
Chairman Neal?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Is there anything else to come before the Water Board tonight? Would the two young ladies from the Youth Leadership like to come up and introduce herself?
I'm Caroline Bowling. I'm Mackenzie Rickard.
Thank you all for coming tonight.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. If you'd been here a little bit earlier, you got to lead the pledge to the flag. Nothing else come before the Water Board tonight. This meeting's adjourned.